So welcome to today's Bhagavadgita contemplation. So who would like to chant today's shloka and initiate us into the meaning? Sarananji, Rupaji, Shubhaji, Shilpakalaji, any one of you want to?
Okay, I'll go.
Yes, sir, Sarananji.
Tri-vidhā.
Tri-vidhā.
Right?
Yeah.
Tri-vidhā bhavati śhraddhā dehinām sva-bhāva-jā sāttvikī rājasī chaiva tāmasī cheti śhṛiṇu.
Excellent. Shall we chant again?
Tri-vidhā bhavati śhraddhā dehinām svabhāva-jā sāttvikī rājasī chaiva tāmasī cheti śhṛiṇu.
Yeah, go ahead with the meaning, please.
Every human being is born with innate faith, which can be of three kinds: sāttvic, rājasic, or tāmasic. Now, hear about this from me. So, meaning of tri-vidhā is three kinds. Bhavati is śhraddhā, is faith. Dehinām is embodied beings. Which svabhāva-jā, born of one's innate nature. Sāttvikī, of the mode of goodness. Rājasī, of the mode of passion. Cha means and. Eva is certainly. And tāmasī, of the mode of ignorance. Cha and iti is thus. Tam is about this. Śhṛiṇu, here.
Very nice. So this is from the 17th chapter, Shraddha, Traya, Vibhaga Yoga.
Oh, Shraddha, Traya.
So this is what Sri Krishna is saying to Arjuna. So what is your interpretation of this?
So Vijayji, this chapter title, what does this chapter lead into? Shraddha. Shraddha is faith.
Shraddha means faith. Traya means
Vibhaga.
Vibhaga. So to be able to discriminate the three kinds of faith, what they are, and how to evolve out of that. So what does the word yoga itself mean?
In this context, we can say it's the chapter or learning.
So the word yoga itself, see, if you see the Bhagavad Gita, each chapter has the word yoga at the end of it, title. It starts with Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Arjuna's sorrow, that is Arjuna Vishada, yoga. Then Sankhya Yoga. Karma Yoga. So like that, each chapter ends with the word yoga. So here this is Shraddha, Traya, Vibhaga, and yoga. So what do you make out of that? The word yoga itself means union.
Yeah.
In terms of the meaning of the word yoga, yoga means union. So what is the union Krishna is talking about here? And therefore, he begins it with this shloka.
Union, like, of being with the teaching.
Okay, that is one way of looking.
Yeah.
Yeah. In that sense, every chapter, it is being one with the teaching, correct, is what brings about the union.
Yeah.
So union naturally also implies there is at least two, right?
Yeah.
So union of who and who then, or what and what here then? Or union of what is being referred by Krishna here?
So what we learn is this Bhagavadgita gives Yoga Shastra, what we call. Right? So I would say the union, meaning at any given moment of time, how when you want to take an action, or when you want to speak something, right? So you need to you need to have that in for speech you need to have the intent, and you are going to talk about it, or to do something, you want to know what is the right thing to do, right? So so maybe I would say the union is between the intent and that outcome. So if there is no clarity, then obviously the intent and the outcome is going to be very different, right? So and almost, if you see the way Bhagavad Gita started, is the clarity is not there in Arjuna, right? And so he is not sure of the outcome, and there is an intent though, so the binding is not happening, right? And so that's my interpretation of the union here.
Very nice. Any other views? What does yoga mean in this context? Shraddha, Traya, Vibhaga, yoga. Rupaji or Shilpakalaji or Shubhaji. And Anvitaji, you also can feel free to share your view. Okay, so one another way of looking at it is, see, what is that Sri Krishna is talking in this chapter? Three kinds of faith. So now what is faith? Let's ask that fundamental question first. What is faith according to you, Sarananji?
It's the
the closest translation in English, Shraddha, is faith.
Yeah,
so therefore, you're using that word.
Yeah. So we have this belief, but then one more degree is unquestioned belief, like giving by example of a baby's faith in the mother. Is that
excellent?
Yeah. So that's my
So the trust that the baby has in the mother is innate, isn't it? It is not an intellectual trust.
No.
It is innate. So there's an innate faith in the mother. So Therefore, can we first of all say that faith is innate, is intrinsic to all of us?
Mhm.
It is not something that is cultivated.
No, it's something that comes naturally. Yeah.
Something that is there naturally, right? Innate. So Shraddha is innate. But then Sri Krishna is talking that what is innate? There are three distinct qualities to that innate nature. Traya. So what are the three qualities? Sāttvic quality, rājasic quality, and tāmasic quality. So now let's understand what is the faith of a tāmasic, what is the faith of a rājasic, and what is the faith of a sāttvic quality. So faith is innate. Is that acceptable to all of us? Does anyone have a question regarding that? That Shraddha, that we have innate faith. We are born with innate faith.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Shilpa Kalaji, you have a question, and you are just
No, I'm agreeing with you, sir.
Like the example Sarvanji gave, the baby has a innate faith in the mother. So
Yes.
all of us are born with that innate faith. Excellent. Okay. Now there are three qualities, or three levels of that faith, is what Sri Krishna is now showing us through this. What are the three levels, or the three types? Tāmasic, rājasic, and sāttvic. So now, what is tāmasic faith? What does it mean to you? What is the word tāmasa or tāmasic faith? What does it indicate to you?
Laziness.
Laziness, right?
Yeah.
Because the word tamas in Sanskrit, it naturally means laziness, darkness. Tamo guna means darkness. So, like we begin our satsang with a prayer, asatoma sadgamaya. Then tamasoma jyotirgamaya. So tamas in that context means darkness. Jyoti means light. Yeah. So tamasic means something related to darkness.
Darkness.
What kind of darkness? Why is darkness being associated with faith? What is then that quality of faith? Darkness faith.
Basically, ignorance.
Ignorance. Can you elaborate that with an example?
Ignorance leads to doing wrong, understanding wrong, right?
And how do you connect that to faith?
To faith. Okay.
An example which connects the ignorant faith, a tāmasic faith.
Tāmasic faith.
Others can also help. Shilpa Kalaji, Shubhaji, Rupaji, Anvitaji.
It's like mostly that I can do everything and anything and nobody can question me. That is more like a tamasic guna. Whereas ultimately we have no control over ourselves. Like, for example, now people think that I am everything. But whereas at the end of the day, they have no control over anything. Like, for example, we take the war.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah, what they are doing is right, is what they think, but at the end of the day, they are not right. So more towards their attitude is more towards tamasic
Excellent. That's a good example. But can we pick something from our day-to-day life? Anything that that we see in and around us in your day-to-day life? Through that, can you pick any example of a tamasic faith?
Person with ego.
Like people who don't listen to others, like in conversations, when it's like you believe that your opinions are always right, and so you're ignorant of the fact that there's like other opinions that are like considering them in a way.
Excellent. So you hold on to only your opinion, and you are not even willing to listen to somebody else to see whether that my perspective can shift or not. Excellent example. Or we can also pick an example, I have money and money can buy me everything. And through money, I can bring about, I have faith in money. I have faith in the money, the power of the money that I possess. So they're all born out of ignorance that, we saw during the COVID, crores of rupees were there, but there was not enough oxygen tanks. So many people struggled. Excellent. So that is a tāmasic faith, a faith born out of ignorance of how the reality is. So therefore, the behavior is born out of such an ignorance. Then what is rājasic?
In the faith, you can also say that someone hurting other for the personal enjoyment.
Are you giving the example for tāmasic or rājasic?
Tāmasic, yeah, I just want to add to it.
Yeah.
Right, not able to see from the other's point of view, the suffering that's going through, right?
Yeah.
Maybe tāmasic.
Yeah. Excellent.
Rājasic is all action oriented.
So what does rājasic faith here could mean?
Power hungry.
Power hungry.
Over hungry.
Okay.
Yeah,
Can you
like
elaborate a
China
little
is
more?
taking over all our land, no? That is more like rājasic through use of power, army, example.
My understanding of it was also like you're so passionate about what you believe that you're like trying to spread, like, I don't know, the way some religions try to like convert so many people. So like at my college on the main plaza, like people will just stand there and be like, you must believe in Jesus Christ, like otherwise you'll all go to hell, like things like that. So I feel like that's like the passion of their faith without like realizing that there's like multiple truths. I don't know. Something
Multiple
like that.
practices, multiple ways of arriving at the truth. Excellent example. So my way or highway.
Yeah.
So I know it all. I know it best. My teachers is the best teaching. My religion is the best religion. Excellent example.
So, is there color to rājasic?
Yeah, can you elaborate your question?
Can see tāmasic, we can always say that it is something negative, wrong kind of thing. When it comes to rājasic, rājasic can be positive as well, negative as well, because there can be actions out of a positive outcome or intent, and same way there can be actions which can lead to negative outcome.
So the fundamental distinction in rājasic, there is a egocentric, I have to benefit. So that is why, in the picture, if you see, there's an example from Ramayana. For tāmasic, usually the Kumbhakarna, ignorant fellow, sleeping fellow, he is not really willing to question his belief. He is not willing to engage in any conversations, simply believes and continues to live in a life of darkness. And out of that ignorance, his actions are causing, of course, harm. Whereas a rājasic fellow is a slightly more evolved fellow, but he is acting out of I-ness, that I have to be satisfied. So therefore, Ravana is the example from Ramayana. So he went and prayed to Shiva for Atmalinga. So Shiva said it belongs to all, but he wanted to possess it. Who? Ravana. So that's an example of I being the most important, without necessarily caring for someone else. Like our, the typical capitalistic approach. My way of life, irrespective of how others suffer, is very important. I have to live at the cost of causing even harm to somebody else. So there is a egocentric importance. The importance is to egocentric actions. So you're right. It is out of that egocentricity only actions emerge. But that ego is limited to me as a body and mind, are limited to my family, are limited to my community. So I'm willing to then put somebody else as an opposition. So there is a me and the other that is intrinsic there.
So it is negative only.
I mean, ultimately anything that is born out of such a, duality of existence has to cause some negative outcomes, no? See, if you look at it in that way, in the Kurukshetra war also there were two sides. There was a Pandava side and a Kaurava side.
Yeah, so there the action was there on both sides.
But one's action was for upholding the dharma.
Yeah.
Dharma means what? That which is universal. And the other side was, I have to be the most powerful king, dharma. So therefore, action is on both the sides. Even in the tāmasika guna, there is an action. Even in the rājasika, born out of rājasic faith also, there is action. Born out of sāttvic faith also, there is action. But the nature of the action is different. And the outcome of the action is different.
So let's say that, let's take the soldier only example. A soldier who is there to protect, his nature, can we say his nature is rājasic?
His nature, okay, look at it this way. It depends upon, what viewpoint he takes. At the end of the day, as a soldier, the viewpoint if he's taking is, I am here to serve the motherland. I'm here to protect the motherland from, maybe, I'm just giving an example, maybe some kind of a terrorism. Then in that act, he evolves out of his own I-ness. So it is not, the action per se, but it is the attitude behind the action that determines that. Like, recall that video we have seen, the cheetah coming and killing the mother ape, and there is a baby ape. It could have killed the baby ape. But what it did, it rather protected it. And that's the real video they've captured. And we have all seen that. So in that moment, the cheetah was able to grow out of its own innate nature of, my nature is to kill. So it grew out of that. So similarly, the soldier who takes the larger viewpoint, he is free. He is not doing it out of his own egocentric needs. Though there is an, as a soldier, I'm a professional soldier, I'm doing this for the sake of my family, for my money and everything. That is also there. But in that moment, with what viewpoint he is performing, that either helps him to evolve or to collapse.
So so you don't call that as rājasic, is it?
Because that is the duty of a soldier, isn't it?
So rājasic is not, you cannot translate directly to action, action oriented or related to action.
It is what is the attitude behind, because whether you're a tāmasic faith oriented person or a rājasic faith oriented or sāttvic oriented, action is given. What is the attitude behind the action? In the tāmasic, there is an ignorance. There is unwillingness to question. There is no clarity. In rājasic, there is a more of a egocentric I-ness. I as in body and mind. So that is also still an ignorance only. There is still an ignorance. But that ignorance has become, I am important. I as in what? I as in this body, I as in this mind. My ideas are more important than yours. So that takes us naturally to the next one, sāttvic. So what is sāttvic then?
Out of knowledge, peaceful and loving, all those things. So it has a very positive color, right? I was about to say that, like, not much of action, but then like you do put any action with good intent also under sāttvic.
Yeah.
Same
knife, an ignorant fellow may use it to murder someone. Egocentric person may use to maybe collapse a whole area. But the same knife in the hand of a skilled surgeon can heal. So the action is there in all. So here Krishna particularly, when it comes to faith, so this is the guna. These are the three gunas, right? Tāmasic, rājasic and sāttvic. In terms of the faith, a tāmasic faith takes one more towards all kinds of, in the evolution, there are lower level beings, kshuddra devatas. See, each thing that you focus on in life is nothing but energy. And that what you focus on kind of grows into you. So for example, if you're constantly, let's say, looking at some, let's take a serial, your web series, and there is a constant crude language of demeaning some, say, community or some gender, then that kind of starts creeping into your own being. Your own thought process, your own feeling system, everything starts getting morphed because of what you're constantly seeing and practicing, isn't it? So in a similar way, there are Kshudra Devatas. Kshudra Devatas, essentially are for some kind of lower meanings, lower end. So, black magic kind of things. I want to destroy somebody. I want to harm somebody. So there are powers, because your faith has power. See, that is why even a terrorist can plan and attack and create a destruction, because even his faith has power. But his power is geared towards destruction. So similarly, whatever the form or whatever the power that you go behind, that you run after, that starts growing into you. That energy form grows into you. So tamasic is lower level. Kshudra. Why it is kshudra? Because it is still not universal. It is limited. I am separate and I am going to get something. And to get something, somebody is an obstruction. So to remove that obstruction, I can go to any length to remove that obstruction. So there is still a feeling of lack that remains in a person who seeks, because he is still a beggar in that sense. He is still begging. I want that and you give me that. So therefore I'm going to give you this. So there's still a transaction. The contentment has not yet come in. Same is the case with rājasic. But a sāttvic is someone who has evolved beyond me and my needs. Bhagat Singh also went and fought, but when he was put to gallows, he went to the gallows smilingly. It is said that, he was whistling when he was going to the gallows. Why? What enabled him? Why was he not afraid of death? Because the attitude of the action, the faith with which it was done. What was the faith? It was, may this country be free from the brutality of someone else. So, we have referred to this book earlier also, Song of a Bird. So it's a wonderful little book. It happens in the Nazi concentration camp. So there is this Jew who is a brain surgeon. He is also in that camp, and he is more like a scientist. And in the camp, he is looking at other Jews who are there. See, in the society, there is a strata, right? There is a lower person, there is a higher person because of, your money, position and power. So they wear different dress, they behave differently. But now in the concentration camp, all those Jews are being made to wear the same dress. Irrespective of whether you are a wealthy Jew or a poor Jew, you are being treated the same way. In the concentration camp, the only outcome is which day you are going to be put to the gas chamber. That is known. It is today or tomorrow. That's all. That's the only difference. And as long as you're living, you're also being treated like not at all worthy of living. You're being given in the concentration camp only 2 slices of bread every day. And with those 2 slices, you have to work through the day. Very hard labor. You have to dig trenches, to lay pipes. You have to dig land, to lay railway tracks. Very hard labor. So what he started observing is that even within the Jews, he started noticing distinct behavior patterns. There are one group who, as soon as the 2 slices were given, they would eat that, and they would also be willing to go and beat up others and snatch their 2 slices if they were hungry. That is one category of people he started noticing. There was another category of people he started noticing. Those when 2 slices were given, would eat little of some of whatever they were given and keep the other. And what he noticed is that what they kept as they were working during the day, it would be very hard labor, no? Many would collapse doing the labor. And if anyone collapses, the German soldiers would not necessarily bring them back to the camp. They would then and there shoot them. So to avoid them from being shot at, these people who would keep some slice would give that slice and would energize them and bring them back. So he was wonderstruck. Each one knows that, they're going to be put into the gas chamber today or tomorrow. They know that they're going to die. But even in that situation, all their possessions and money and everything has been taken away. Now all of them are like same dress they're wearing, same work they're doing, same food they're being given. They're being treated the same way. But still, their own behavior towards each other is different. What is it? He was really getting very, very curious about this phenomenon. Then he also noticed in that camp, there was an outbreak of certain kind of a fever, and for which they had to quarantine people. And right around the same time, there was a lot of pressure on the German government from the United Nations and other places. So they were portraying as if these concentration camps were not to kill Jews, but these concentration camps are to put various prisoners and to correct them. So therefore, they started showing them that, look, there's an outbreak of this community disease. We have quarantined them. We are giving them treatment. All that they were also doing. Because he was a doctor, he was being given the task of going and treating those patients in the quarantined area. So he was given a limited amount of injection. And there were so many who were with that community disease, that fever-like symptom. So he had to choose. He had to choose to who I will give the medicine. Being a doctor, he had to make a choice. Who among these, when I give, has a better chance of living? So what he started noticing even in that quarantine camp is that people would be wailing, crying, shouting, give me, give me. Or some people would be, "Ayo, God, why did you put me into this condition?" All of that he started noticing. But among all of them, he noticed one particular person. Somehow, this particular person was very, very peaceful. He had a certain glow in his face. And to his own dismay, this person, he was not giving the injection. So he knew that this person is going to die, maybe within the next few days. But how come he's so peaceful and I'm not even giving the injection? And unlike others, he's not even shouting or crying. So he asked him, "What is that is making you feel like this?" Then that person said, "I know that my life is going to go. So the other day, I prayed to God. I prayed to God and God appeared. And all I asked him is, please take my life, but please bring healing to all these other people. Please bring peace and contentment to all these other people. I'm willing to give my life." And I felt deeply peaceful. So at that moment, that surgeon realized something far more important in life. that when someone lives the life for the benefit of others, in the service of the others, there's a natural peace and contentment that comes into their life. And thankfully, this surgeon escaped the concentration camp because it was right around the end of the Second World War. He came out and he created a whole new branch of healing various kinds of psychological diseases. It's called as logotherapy. You can all look up him. His name is Victor. So what he essentially does in his approaches, most often psychological diseases are only because of me and the mind attitude of life. So when one goes beyond that, and that is a sāttvic, when one goes beyond me and the mind, when one works for others, for the benefit of the others, truly, from the heart, for the betterment of someone else, then they naturally experience something far bigger than themselves. So, to realize the divine within you, you have to transcend the tāmasic tendencies, rājasic tendencies, cultivate more of sāttvic tendencies. It is still an effort. To do service means there is still an effort. Instead of what did I get, what do I get, what am I getting, from that attitude, what am I offering? What am I contributing? So it's still initially it's still a cultivation of attitude. So Krishna is saying, by distinguishing by learning to distinguish these three, you start knowing which is of higher power. So a sāttvic faith means there is inherent trust in a higher power, which is benevolent, which is universal, which is all embracing. See, when you if there's a fellow called God, don't know where or how it is, but if there's a fellow called God, what is your natural conception about God? As a very loving and kind and someone who looks after everybody. So that, when that faith is cultivated, that naturally leads you to sāttvic oriented actions. And as you develop more and more sāttvic faith, that naturally helps you to go beyond these three and to realize your own true nature, which is beyond the three. So, therefore, by giving the distinction among the three faiths, Krishna is encouraging us to look within ourselves and to cultivate that which helps us realize our own true nature. So, from a Kshuddra Devata to a Sāttvic. So, in the example of Ramayana, Vibhishana realized the highest principle of Rama. So, therefore, he was willing to see the nature of Rama. He went to the Sharanagati of Rama. He bowed down to Rama. So that is the faith born out of Sāttvic tendencies. To see the inherent truth in what is happening. Only when the mind is peaceful, you can see what is inherent, what is changing, what is universal, what is not universal. All this examination can happen only in a mind that is peaceful enough. Only in the sattva guna, mind full of sattva, sattvic faith, can the faith towards the words of the Sadguru come. And only when the faith in the words of the Sadguru is there, can the recognition of the truth happen.
One question here.
Yeah.
Which part of the shloka says the innate Shraddha, we say faith.
Yeah.
I want to understand. See, yeah, a child has is born with that faith. Okay, what we see with, towards the mother. Is but the other faith we're talking about is cultivated faith.
Not necessarily. It is, in one sense, because of the samskaras, because of the impressions in the mind, there's a natural tendency, no? See, even among little children who are exposed to the same environment, you can see distinct kinds of behavior patterns, no? See, that is why in the same family, you have Vibhishana, you have Ravana, you have Kumbhakarna.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So what is like each one is born with a faith?
Each one has
then
an intrinsic faith because of the samskaras.
Okay.
Because of what are the impressions that are carried over.
Okay.
Because what has caused this particular birth? Certain impressions.
But it's kind of, but what I see is like when one is born with the particular faith, they're kind of shielded from the faith of others. Like they will see that their faith is the real.
That is why Krishna is encouraging us to develop. See, that is why by showing that these are the three kinds of faith, he's not simply showing that, so that, you get stuck in that.
Categorize it.
He's categorizing so that, it's like, by giving a scale, you can recognize. Okay, by doing the exam, you can recognize how much you know about the subject. So am I getting C grade or D grade or B grade or A grade? So then what do I need to do to go to the A grade? Because that is the natural evolution, right? So he's giving a scale. He's showing what is the nature and what happens to them.
Okay. So the idea of this chapter is to show and then teach that you have to cultivate your faith towards Sattvic.
That choice he leaves to each one of us. He's simply saying that, look, if you put a chili seed, you'll get a chili plant. You put a mango seed, you get a mango plant. Now you choose what is important for you in your life. He doesn't force you into one or the other. He's not saying that you only practice sattvic faith. He's saying this is the nature of the tāmasic faith, this is the nature of the rājasic faith, this is the nature of the sattvic faith. Now, what is important for you?
And in the same way, I cannot change the faith of the other, or I should try.
Well, it is not like you can change the faith of the others. It is like this. At the end of the day, you can only, like how Krishna is doing here, you can say, this is how it works. This is the Bhagavad-gita is the closest model of reality of life. In science, we build models to learn various things, right? And through model is not the actual thing. Model is a closest approximation to the reality. So therefore, we say, in this boundary, this is how the phenomena works. Beyond this boundary, I need some other maybe law. So you usually put a boundary and you define certain laws within that boundary. So you have built a model, and through the model you are trying to explain a reality. Model is not the reality. Bhagavad Gita is the closest model of reality. So therefore, what Shri Krishna is saying, this is how reality is. So therefore, now you have been given the ultimate power of choice. You can cultivate Kshuddra Devata Upasana and go into that. You can cultivate Shri Krishna Upasana and evolve. Both choices is left to you and me. What do I want to choose? He's showing simply this is how reality works. He's not insisting. He's not insisting that you choose me over others.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments from Rupaji, Shilpakalaji, Shubhaji, and Vitaji? All right. So looks like there are no more comments or questions. So we will then end our contemplation here today. Or maybe, is there anything else that anybody wants to share based on all this discussion? Shubhaji and Vitaji, is there something that you would like to say?
No, sir.
All right.
Sir, I want to say something.
Yes, Rupaji.
These Bhagavad Gita contemplations, actually, I never used to prepare. Yesterday I prepared for it, but I wanted to see the difference between how it goes with preparation and without preparation. So here, every time when I never prepared, I used to see how I can understand it. So here in these contemplations, everyone, I think they share their understanding only by reading those 2 lines, the meaning that you have given. So I wanted to say that all these, even without preparing for it, by reading the Bhagavad Gita book, we can what is this? We can get a deeper understanding. No, this is my thought about the session.
Excellent.
And so throughout the session, I was silent, observing you both or everyone talk about all these things. So this is helping. This is what I felt.
So what you're communicating is that by simply contemplating on these 2 lines itself, you are able to keep going deeper. Is that what you are saying?
No, not just these two lines.
Hmm.
The understanding of every individual in the group.
Hmm.
And we can also, I'm able to also differentiate between what I read and what you people have contemplated.
Hmm.
And also relating both of them.
Excellent.
Hmm.
So what you are also saying then is this whole preparation and then listening and then participating is making you feel it is you're able to relate to it far more deeply.
Yes, yes.
Excellent. Excellent, Rupaji.
Definitely, yeah.
Actually, these contemplations will help us think in the different perspectives of different individuals. So the preparation that I have done is different than what I have listened to the contemplation today.
Why don't you please share what you prepared? That will also help us.
Yeah. So according to what I read, the Shraddha that we actually all that is being discussed during this contemplation today. But what I had prepared is the Shraddha is there when we are born due to our past impressions from the infinite lifetimes that we have already undergone. And these faiths will be different in different types of people based on their karmas. And it may be Sāttvic, Rājasic and Tāmasic, which Krishna has categorized it into. And Tāmasic faith is the faith can be either Tāmasic, Rājasic and Sāttvic, where the faith is strong in different individuals and they believe what they are doing is right. And the outcome may be different. It may be either evil or good or a combination of both of these. This is what I had prepared.
Wonderful. And what is your view of Sāttvic?
Sāttvic means doing anything selflessly. And Tāmasic is full of doing it for the self only, not thinking about others. And Rājasic means, as I said, it is both self and others. Self and about others too.
But there is a fundamental ignorance about who I am. So therefore, that action still continues to be egocentric.
Yeah.
So another, based on what you are saying, another way of looking at this is like when we are preparing food, there are different masalas. Only when the right masalas are added in the right mixture, can it make the dish really nice. So in that way, it is not that something has to be abandoned. So for example, when you are doing service, you're doing service with a particular in a particular context, in a particular role. Say for example, when you're serving your child, you are playing the role of a mother. So that ego of a mother is what is you are bringing out during that time. However, the Sāttvic qualities, the Sāttvic faith helps you to realize you are not only that role. But when you're playing that role is the most important role.
Yeah, and in this, as a mother, the Tāmasic maybe, I can say that it is the greed of a parent, where a parent will try to expect more than maybe the ability of the child. But actually, the intention of a parent is good only, but it is going in the wrong path.
Yeah, I look at some other child and the child has passed some exam and I want my child also pass the same exam.
Yeah.
Excellent, Upaji. So you see, silence is also important, but speech is also very, very important. So through your speech only we could, get another perspective.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for breaking your silence. Shilpa Kalaji, is there anything else that you would also like to share at the end?
Actually, no, sir. I'm very happy with the explanation that everyone has given. So, and I feel the same way. So I'm good, sir.
Very nice, Shilpa Kalaji. Wonderful. All right. So then we will start the contemplation.